Recording started.
All right, hello everybody. It is Monday, November 15th. Thank you for joining us to the Leadership Committee meeting. We will get started. And to get started, we'll look at October minutes. Jeremy, I know you sent them out today. You'll be able to pull them up on the screen when you get a vote on them.
What time is it now?
7:03.
Okay, thank you.
And while Jeremy's doing that, would anyone like to volunteer to take minutes tonight? Anyone? You're all muted. No? All right. I guess I'll take minutes for tonight.
And just, I mean, I sent out the minutes on Friday, but there was a problem with the city publishing it.
I thought I saw them today, but maybe I did see them on Friday.
Yeah, I think I
All right,
CC'd you. I CC'd you on the email to the city. Maybe, I don't remember.
Okay. All right, scroll down a little bit there. Want everybody to get a quick glance at them. All right. Minutes good look to me, so I'm going to call for a motion to approve the October 2021 leadership minutes from last month. Do I have a second?
A second.
Seconded by Bernadette. Discussion? Anyone against? Any any abstentions? All right, motion passes. Go into the second item on the agenda, which is the draft full board agenda. Jeremy, when you get a chance, if you can just bring up the agenda, we'll go item by item. I think what we did last month by not including the NYPD in there, I think the meeting, at the beginning of the meeting, it went by a lot quicker. They were there, they gave a full briefing to the Public Safety Committee, which was great. All right, Pledge of Allegiance. So last month, everybody said it at the same time. Everybody was all over each other. So this time, oral, you're going to be on your own. People can still, recite it, but they're just going to have to mute themselves.
Correct.
For the moment of silence. Big change here. We moved up the gallery session to number 3. Right now, I think we only have one person, which Jeremy already has noted. Go into item number 4, public hearing issue. So we might as well talk about it right now for a little bit. Jeremy, do you want to speak for a minute about the report?
So I was surprised that according to the charter, we're supposed to have a public hearing every month in addition to a public meeting. Public hearings doesn't require any votes, doesn't require attendance, doesn't require a quorum, just requires that we hear from the public on a particular topic once a month. We can choose, it could be a land use item, it could be, I think, Yahe, you had an idea of, we were apprised of a one-way street request, so maybe we could do that next month. But according to the chart, we're supposed to do, yeah, I put this on the chairman's report. I can put it on my report, Al, it's up to you. But yeah, technically we're supposed to have a public hearing once a month in addition to a public meeting. You can do the public hearing, same, you can have it on the agenda and, say, full board public hearing and meeting. But I know when I was speaking to people like Yahe about, it's better if it's done at the committee level, we think. Even if it is done in committee though, so the hearing is just about a single topic. During the meeting, you still should have a gallery session for other topics. It officially has to be separate though, and there's a way to advertise those things. Send out notice about it. It's a little cumbersome, but first let's start with having a public hearing. So
Thank you.
I have a question
yeah, go ahead, Bernadette.
with regards to the public hearing issue. How do people register for that? Is there a way of register or just show up at our
I
meeting?
mean, it's up to each whoever's going to hold it. I mean, look, I have to look at our bylaws too. It depends on our bylaws say too. In addition to the guidelines by the city. So I'll double check, but I think the most important thing is if we just look, we're not going to get everything right away. We'll always have complaints, but if we can figure out, I guess maybe a hearing for December, then we ideally we get less complaints in the long run.
So
I have a question, Jeremy. When you said this is part of the charter, does that mean all community boards have to do it?
Yeah. So
Can we join with some and like do joint public hearings to kind of
you could, but
help with the workload?
you could, but yeah, I mean, you'd only want to do that if it's like a citywide topic or a mutual topic, right?
Right, that's what I
That's
mean.
it.
Yeah, something that's like on the border to both to both community boards or something.
Do you have another
an
board in
idea.
mind? Do you have another board
No.
issue in mind?
No, nothing in particular. I was just thinking like this is a lot. It's going to be a lot of work, and just trying to think of ways to help minimize that. Might be to hold some joint ones once in a while, where it makes sense.
So
Yeah, but that you have to no. I mean, you mean all like the different community boards, like community board 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, having one meeting, Lisa? What do you, I don't
No. Like for instance, let's say there's a homeless shelter that wants to open up, or the city wants to open a homeless shelter. It's like right on the border of 10 and 11. Then we can hold a joint hearing about it.
Oh, got you. So if it concerns like a neighboring whatever border,
Yeah. I'm just saying
that
where it makes sense. I'm not saying we have to like bend over backwards to make it happen. It was just
Right.
an idea. That's all.
right, and you're saying so if it's just in our community, we just discuss it here. But you're saying if it borders and it impacts two community boards, we try to have one. But then then Jeremy and everyone else who's on full time would have to schedule that with the other community board to have an entire community board meeting that because it affects two communities, right?
Yeah, it would be one hearing instead of us each having a hearing on the same topic. Because if all community boards have to have hearings once a month,
Well, that's a lot of communication because I think a lot of the community boards, because sometimes go to because I'm an architect, so the AIA does have meetings in Manhattan with other things, and that's sometimes not done, but I mean, because it's a lot of coordination between two community boards to try to figure out a day and a time where you have so many communities meeting. It can be done. It's not, I'm not saying it cannot. I think something happened like that before in the past where we met at a facility, and there were two community board 10 and 11 were all
Yes.
talking about a homeless shelter because it impacted both communities. And that was a good one. So I guess it is a possibility, but you'd have to open up. And you're talking about opening up to the public also.
The public
That's what a
hearing
public
is,
hearing is.
Public hearings,
I know.
yeah.
Okay, so then
Yeah.
you'll have to have the bandwidth to cover, because remember, I think Bernadette, remember we had that big one we had that time at I think it was a facility where we had both community board 10
10
and
and
11
11.
there. There's a lot of people there. There's a lot of people there. We're talking
Right,
nearly
that-
100 people were there.
Yes, that was a large amount of people. But the thing is, if there is a specific thing that concerns two community boards, and for our public hearing, we have that as the issue, then we do have to be able to have the bandwidth and the amount
Yeah,
of members, et cetera, to
exactly.
accommodate
Yeah,
that.
I mean, guys, I didn't want to make a
Because
whole
the
discussion of this.
technology
This is
required for
just an
that
idea for like
is
at some
huge.
point in the future, if it makes sense. Like we don't really have to dive into the details of what it would entail now. It's just an idea for the future.
All right, so I've been trying to chime in. I just, it's a good idea. It's not a bad one, but just to give you an example, for the past year, I've been trying to convert a street to a one-way street for safety and traffic congestion purposes. I've gotten some signatures. I've spoken to Bernadette and the Van Ness Neighborhood Alliance a couple of times. And what we got from DOT, because I took the commissioner there and he told me you have to request it through the community board. And I don't want to bring it to the community board until I spoke with the neighborhood organizations. The Bronx Muslim Center is in favor, so I wanted to see to check with the Van Ness Neighborhood Alliance. When we just got word back from the commissioner, he said you have to do a public hearing on
Yes.
it before it can pass the community board level. So this is like a perfect example. So we get the report that says we have to do a public hearing each month, and we get the email from the commissioner that says you need a public hearing to have this go through the community board. So this kind of worked out. So this is where the rabbi comes in and the transportation committee comes in for his next meeting next month. If he can schedule the public hearing, the first 15 minutes or half hour of his meeting will be a public hearing, and then he'll start his committee meeting immediately after that. I think, we can kill two birds with one stone by doing that. And honestly, within our district, we have numerous issues that we can probably, and my suggestion would be that each committee, since we have enough committees and we need 10 public hearings, we have at least 10 committees that can gather at least one topic and do a public hearing with the issue that they have, because you have to name the issue, name the date and time, and allow the public to come and join. So again, I gave the example for the transportation committee. It's up to the rabbi. I hope he accepts the offer. Then we can talk about shelters when we come to another committee. Then we can talk about crime with the public safety committee. We can talk, there's so many, each committee has something that we can talk about. Sorry to take this long, but I just wanted to say that.
I'm unclear about what you're saying. So we're taking the public hearing option away from our full board meeting and putting it to committees. Is that what you're saying?
so
That's
public
correct.
hearing doesn't have to be either committee, or it can be either one. And what Yahe is saying
Oh.
is, because time is precious, and it's a transportation issue, it'd be nice if rabbi or the committee just does it. I mean, you can call it Bronx Community 11 Transportation Committee public hearing. He doesn't have to have a meeting next month. It's up to him, but if you could at least have a public hearing on the issue, I think, that would satisfy the DOT requirement, right? And the charter requirement.
Okay,
Yeah, Jeremy, if a committee is talking about a certain topic has to do, it's important to the community, then we just make that a public hearing. The public is invited to the meetings anyway, make that a public hearing. If if it's something that's important to the community, then it should be made a public hearing. Make that a public hearing, and that covers the public hearing.
Yeah, and for attendance purposes, I'm looking at the bylaws now. Once that public hearing becomes mandatory by the committee, it counts against the attendance of the committee members. So if they don't show up, it counts that they missed the meeting.
As it should be.
But if they all show up and nobody from the public shows up, 7:05, 7:10, 7:15, if you really want, then just, end the public hearing.
Yeah. Correct. They can discuss it amongst themselves. If none of them have like if I missed the transportation committee meeting and here I am, I'm supposed to be there for the one-way street and I'm not there, and they discuss it without me, they don't have to come out with a vote like you said. There's no mandatory vote. They'll just come out. It's my loss for not being there since it was a sensitive topic that I'm passionate about.
Do you need quorum
If it's important to the community, they'll turn out.
Well,
Does it-
I guess according to Yahe's interpretation of the bylaws, which is probably correct, I haven't looked at it yet, but according to Yahe, if it counts against attendance, you need, I would say you need quorum. I mean, maybe it's debatable.
what about the board members? Do the board members have to vote on this?
Actually, you know what? You probably don't need quorum, but it would still count against attendance. I mean, as far as I know, you don't need quorum for a public hearing. So I'm sorry, I'm just talking. I'm just thinking out loud now. My mistake.
Okay,
We'll have to review it.
okay.
Yeah, I'm looking at the removal part of our bylaws, and it says, if you miss 3 consecutive non-excused absences from assigned committee meetings, and in parentheses it says including public hearings sponsored by such committee where the meeting notice stated that the attendance was mandatory.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's how I see it. So we can continue we decided to bring it up this meeting because if we bring it up at the full board, forget it. We'll be talking until 10 p.m. about it.
But Rabbi, is that okay? Do you think, I don't know if you need or want a meeting. I don't think we have any agenda items for you next month, but if you could have a public hearing about this issue, that would be great. That's what's making Rhinelander Avenue a one-way street, right?
Either
Yep,
east or
that's
west.
wonderful. That's wonderful. You do that. I like that idea.
So you got a single topic and you hear from the public. Ideally the committee votes on, because what DOT wants is they want support from the committee board, right? For the review it.
Yeah,
I have a
correct.
question.
Is there anybody going to be against this thing? No, right? This is a
No,
no-brainer.
no, there are people against it. I would, there are, because there needs to be a study. There are issues which I didn't know if we were going to be bringing up at this particular meeting, but there are issues, and I did submit a map because there are concerns. I think that it should be one way, either east or west, but there are issues from speaking with the commissioner, with Navarro, ex-commissioner, there are shortcut issues on both ways, so they need to be discussed. I don't know where is the appropriate place to discuss it.
At the public hearing, I think, because we'll mention that once we do the public hearing and it goes to DOT and DOT does the study, because they're not doing the study without the public hearing and without it
Right.
going through Community Board 11. So even if we don't vote on it, if they don't have a transportation committee, at the next full board meeting, the rabbi is going to have to say, we had a public hearing and here is the motion, and the full board is going to have to vote on it anyway in order for it to get to DOT for them to start a study. The thing that shocked me was it's not going to be up to us which direction it's going to go.
Yes,
He
I
said
know.
it's based on whatever the study results will be. So I might completely like disagree with it and regret going through the whole thing, but who knows? Let's see what happens.
But let me I'll just throw the last thing is, Navarro did make a suggestion that even if the analysis does do the final and our community board preference is not taken into consideration, if they do see that certain things are a problem, they can make an adjustment or whatever. So, I mean, it really is, a lot of it is up to them. You know, we are opening up a can of worms in a way because the final decision does come to them. And I will say, after a lot of discussion and with my little map, there are issues, and we don't know how it's going to impact the White Plains Road and Morris Park road diet that we have. And there's particular outlets that we have right now to bypass the congestion, which is the problem. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm
So-
sort of on the fence.
So let me just share the bylaws so we're not, so at least I stop thinking out loud, if you don't mind. So Yahya is referencing the removal policy, public hearing sponsored by such committee where meeting was stated that attendance was mandatory. So you don't have to make attendance mandatory for your committee, right? Is that clear?
Okay.
I mean, attendance can be counted against you if attendance is mandatory. You don't have to make it mandatory. All right, so can we move on from that? There's more to go cover in the bylaws. Okay. The board chairperson shall call a public hearing whenever required. The committee board may by resolution call additional public hearings on any matter before. So this doesn't congrue exactly with what we just read, where a committee calls a public hearing. It doesn't say here a committee can call a public hearing, but it's implied, I guess. So, I mean, it's up to, it's up to you guys, the board, how you want to, if you just want to administration just does it, and as long as you're okay with it. But look at this, each member of the public must submit to the chairperson in writing request for
Yeah, that's
speaking
important,
time.
Jeremy.
Hmm?
That's important because
Some people don't want to do
someone from
that.
the office is going to have to send an email out to the public saying there's going to be a public hearing. If you want to speak, you have to let us know in advance in writing.
That's important.
Yeah,
So this is, what page is this of our bylaws?
it's
It's page 10.
Article 7, Section 2.
And I just want to see, so so when we get ULERP notifications, right, that should also take precedence over any other public. I mean, we can have more than one public hearing a month. Don't have to be limited to one. I think that's the gist of it for now. I think that's clear enough for now, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, it's very clear, Jeremy. Thanks.
Okay. I'm gonna stop sharing then. So it seems like Rabbi is okay in favor of public hearing for his committee next month, or however he wants to make it mandatory or not for his committee. And then I'll share the agenda again. Right? We want to move on?
Yes.
Wait, I can make them mandatory to come to the meeting, but not to the public hearing. That's what you're saying.
Say it again?
Yeah.
I can make it mandatory for them that they have to show up to the meeting, but they don't have to show
No,
up to
for
the
the
public
hearing.
hearing.
A meeting
Oh,
quorum is required. Public hearing,
Okay.
I'll double check. As far as I know, quorum is not required.
okay. Got you.
Yeah,
So-
like you said, for the public hearing, you don't have to mandate them to attend, but I would recommend it. We barely, have them attend in the other meetings, so.
So,
We don't have to get onto all that, but if you want to make it mandatory for them, make it mandatory, and that means they have to show up and counts against them. for their attendance. If we don't make it mandatory, it does not count against them.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, in
Rabbi.
the past, I know we've had public hearings. It's just been me and the chairperson of the committee. So you could, in this case, I think Chris would be willing to show up and assist versus me, because he normally assists your committee, Rabbi. So if you just want to be you and Chris, and you just hear from the public on the issue, and then at the full board, you can state what you've heard from the public, and then the board can vote that way. Does that make sense, Yahay?
Say again?
So if Rabbi doesn't want to make it mandatory for his committee, you just want, say it's just him and Chris, and then they just see who from the public shows up, and then he reports out at the next meeting.
Has left the
Yeah.
meeting.
You know, who from the public showed up and voiced their opinion. I mean, you don't need a committee vote to vote at the full board for this. I mean, it'd be nice, but it's not required.
Okay. Sounds good. We can move on if we can pull up, there you go. All right. Where was I?
So that was chairman's report, treasurer's report, secretary's report. Draft minutes, I gotta send those out still for October. One for City, New York. Kira has left us already. Leadership, I don't know if you're going to be on the agenda. Depends on what comes up tonight. Land use, Ken, are you still in, or did he leave? I know we got an
He came
announcement.
back.
I finally managed to get the computer working.
Okay. Did you see my email about city planning?
Yeah, I did, but we're not gonna be, all I can do is give a report that we're gonna have a meeting. I do believe we do want to have city planning because we want to go further than what they said the last time. So how do I get city planning, or should we possibly put the meeting in December anyways? Because it's not gonna be for this full board meeting.
Oh, I mean, you want a meeting next Monday, right?
Correct.
So I think we just got to clarify with city planning on their role, because they asked me you want us to present again?
No,
And I don't think we want that.
Jeremy, no. We wanted like just one person who's very familiar with
To answer questions.
with the text
The restaurant thing with
yeah,
text
and
amendments.
just we have some questions. I have some questions, some very important, some very key questions that will clarify what we need to know. So when we do meet in front of everyone, we can make it simple and clear exactly what's going on and what the issues are. Right? Ken had some reservations about approving it, which I understand. So you want to make sure that these issues are addressed and we understand the whole scope of what they're planning to do. Basically, we need to understand the scope of work of what this whole process is for the text amendment. Okay, so we just need one person there, just
also,
one person.
Also for the rest of it, also if how this affects everything else, because
we'll ask those questions when we talk to them.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Jeremy, can you do that? I think there was one person there who was, I forget his name. He was very good. He knew exactly what it was all about. He can answer those questions. I forget his name. Or if it's two people, that's fine. Do you recall Jeremy, the people who were there the first time?
Yeah, no, I mean, I emailed them, and they just want to clarify that it wasn't going to be the same presentation. You just want somebody to answer questions.
If you want to give them my number, and if you want them, listen, call the co-chair, and and I can tell them exactly what I need, and they'll understand.
Okay.
You just want somebody? I'll call them and let them know what we need.
Yep. Okay.
Thanks.
So I'll just put that on the agenda here. Meeting on November 2nd during the open text amendment.
November 22nd.
What?
Right on the agenda,
November.
it's November 20th.
Yeah, right here, right?
Yeah, that's it, Jeremy. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, Monday,
That's fine.
next week. What time, Ken? 7:30?
7:30, yeah. 7:30.
Yeah, once we
Yeah.
meet with them, Jeremy, we'll clarify everything, and we will be able to give a concise answer to everyone who wants to know what's going on, and we'll be able to present it for them to understand clearly what this whole thing means. Okay, that's it.
Any other committee reports I'm missing?
Yes, Jeremy, I will be sending you the agenda for next month for Wednesday, November 1st, and I will be sending you the minutes tomorrow.
You mean December?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yes, December 1st, Wednesday,
Yeah,
December
and
1st.
I gotta put you here.
Yes.
What day? Yeah, all right,
And I will send you the agenda also tomorrow.
okay.
It's education, culture, and youth services.
Yeah, that's all right.
Thank you.
Anything else for the full board agenda? Electeds are still here at the end. All business, new business. Okay. All right.
No, it looks good. So,
You get real leadership until further notice.
yeah.
All right.
All right,
Close
so I'm
this.
going to call for a motion to approve the draft agenda for November. Do I have a second?
A second.
Second,
All right, I heard Bernadette.
And there was
Any
someone else.
discussion on it? Any further discussion?
Oh, I do
Anyone
have
against?
I have discussion. A quick
ahead.
question. Is there going to be discussion with regards to the shelter proposed, the new shelter proposed? Where is that going to be within this report, within this agenda? Or is it going to be discussed, and why is it not discussed?
Well, ideally we have a committee meeting about it. I'm back and forth with the city right now.
But I haven't seen any letter or any response to what was
Yeah,
sent to
no,
you.
nothing's happened yet. I mean,
Don't we have to do that within 40 days of receipt?
that's for a group home.
Oh. I stand corrected. Okay,
There's no deadline for this.
okay, thank you.
Hey, Bernadette, like Jeremy said, we don't have to just do one public hearing a month. So since we're doing one for transportation, is Hazel on? She's from housing, correct?
I don't think Hazel or Veronica are in, are they?
I don't see them.
Yep. Those are the only two I don't have for attendance. So,
All right, so maybe we can pitch that to them to see if they're able to hold it in December.
Yep.
To hold a public hearing. What do you think, Bernadette?
To be quite honest, I would like it to come from the chair of Community Board 11, and I'd like it to be a public hearing for the full board meeting. But that's my opinion.
So maybe, what do you think, Al? Do you want to just have it under your report to pitch it to the board and see?
I think we should go through committee first and then bring it to the full board. But I think, we don't want to overstep our committees. We don't want to step on them. Let them do their
Okay.
due diligence and then we'll take it from there.
I'll speak to Hazel. I'll find out what's going on and speak to her. Okay.
Any further discussion? All right. Anyone opposed? Anyone against the draft agenda? or abstaining? All right, motion passes.
We got a calendar? Yeah.
Yep. The other item is the calendar. Number 3 on the list, just before the gallery session. All right. So looks like you're, oh, that's the draft one. Are you good with the first, Bernadette?
Yeah, Sherry said it, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Uh, for the Rabbi, are you good with the 6th? Do you want to keep it the first Monday? The only thing is with that is the Van Ness Neighborhood Alliance. We hold our meetings on the first Monday of the month.
But that has been changed for December.
What is
Oh,
when is it in December?
Yeah, yes, it is going to be Monday, December 13th, because we have our Christmas tree lighting is going to be on Sunday, December 5th. So our meeting is going to be the following Monday, the 13th, which is also going to be our Christmas party. So that's been the final decision with that. So
Okay, perfect.
So Rabbi, what time? 7:30?
7:30 sounds like a nice time. Yeah, we could go for that. Oh, wait. Time out. That's Hanukkah. That's Hanukkah. It's not good time to do a meeting. That's not good.
Okay, what do you want then?
So
What's good?
then
20th?
I wanted to go. If I can't go to the Monday after, I guess I got to go to the Tuesday after.
What about the 20th?
Well, the 14th is
What?
open.
14th. What
You
day of
don't
the
have
week is
to
that?
on Monday. I don't know if you want to keep it on Monday.
Yeah, I'd like to keep it on Monday, but didn't Bernadette say she has a party on Monday?
No, 13th.
Okay, 12. Good. Week after Monday is fine.
So the 20th?
20th. Good.
Okay.
thank you.
Okay. Lisa?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, hey, 16th.
Yep.
And Al wants to keep the 23rd because it is going to be WebEx. So it's not like you have to be there in person.
Isn't that Christmas Eve?
The 24th.
No, 24th is Christmas Eve.
Oh, okay.
If it were Christmas Eve, I'd be here. Just
Jeremy,
kidding.
change the 24th to say Christmas Eve.
No, we're closed because of Christmas.
Oh, gotcha.
It's
So
Christmas Day observed.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I could put Christmas Day observed. Normally,
It's fine.
it's
I
Christmas
didn't.
Day, but
I work for the city too, so I should have known that. Okay.
that's all right. It's like it.
Yeah.
New Year's is on the 1st, but
Yeah. I know. I recall now when you work for the city.
yeah, I could say observed if you want.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what they do in the city calendars. They put Christmas Day observed, something like that.
You could do it for the same thing for New Year's Day.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
I can spell it right.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm not good at spelling either, so that's okay.
Okay. Anything else? Any other committees want to meet? Okay.
Hey, Al. Al, you still
Angela?
on?
I didn't hear
So-
you. Yeah, what do you need?
So, I know we used to do the Christmas party or the holiday party in lieu of the meeting, but we found out that we must have 10 meetings, so we went back to just meeting in December. Would anyone be interested in maybe like Wednesday, the 22nd, if we held a optional community board get together? Can we
Absolutely,
do that?
absolutely we can.
Is it going to be online or in person?
No,
No, we wanted to do it in person,
it would be a restaurant. It would be in person for those who wanted to come.
Okay. No, because we've done online before at my job, but it's cool. I like it. In person sounds
Yeah.
good.
You can't eat online. All right.
Yes, you can. You'll be surprised. You'll be
I guess you can. You don't
surprised.
have the service.
Dinner and then.
People were sharing what they were eating on the. It was funny, but no, I like in person better.
Have you seen me? I'm not sharing anything I'm eating.
I hear you.
So what do you think? We have the 22nd open. There's nothing on the calendar. Can we put Community Board 11 holiday party and put in parentheses optional or voluntary?
Optional or voluntary?
Yeah, I mean, it's always
What does that mean?
voluntary, so I wouldn't worry about that.
Okay.
So you want the 22nd? Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah. I'll find the location.
Cool.
And how are we doing with the money? Do we have the money for it?
Yes, we should have. We may not have next year, but we have it this year.
7 o'clock, Al? Right?
Yeah, 7 o'clock sounds good. Is everyone in favor? I don't know if I didn't hear any abstentions or anyone against it.
Would people who attend have to be vaccinated?
But
Yeah.
Yes.
Good question. That's a good question, Lisa. It's a really good
It
question. Out
It would have,
city.
it would have to be because it'll be in a restaurant and it's in the city, so it would,
Yeah.
it would have to show vaccination.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's how it is, Lisa. You're right. Because wherever I go to survey buildings in the city, I have to show that that thing on my phone, whatever that thing's called.
App.
Yeah, the app. You know that
Yes.
whatever that is.
Excelsior Pass.
Yeah, Celsius Pass. Yeah, I can't get into schools to survey nothing. Any building I can't get into without showing that pass.
It's
So
for
you may-
everyone's
You
protection.
may want to note that on the
No,
calendar.
it's not a
Jeremy.
problem. I'm just saying that that's a good point that Lisa brought up. You may have to note that. You're right, Lisa. That you know, because of city rules, well, you don't have to say all that, but I mean, you got to be vaccinated. Yeah,
Well, that's a restaurant restriction also.
that's true.
Yeah, I don't think, do we really need to say that? I think everybody would, I mean, it's a
Yeah.
reminder. It's a good reminder.
I mean,
When
people
Al-
are going to ask, Jeremy. You know that people are going to ask.
Jeremy,
Do I have to be
when,
vaccinated?
when
They
it's
should,
decided
because-
where it is, when you send an email, you'll tell people in order to attend, you must be vaccinated because it's in a restaurant. That's
Right.
end of story.
End of
Yeah, I
story.
think everybody should know by now that all restaurants.
No,
if you're gonna go to a
no.
restaurant.
Just in
People still
case,
ask.
cover your ass.
People still ask, Jeremy. You'll be surprised. They'll say,
That's
"Do I have
right.
to be vaccinated?" Yeah.
No, that's a good idea.
I mean, so I can put,
You know, all you have to say is restaurant mandates that everyone attending it be, show proof
Yeah.
of vaccination.
Correct.
well,
Correct.
the city mandates yeah, all right. I'll do it in an email. All right. So we'll get back to this on location, right, Al?
Yeah, you can do all
Yeah,
that.
I'll get your location in a couple of days.
Definitely want to do it on the 22nd, not 29th, right? Versus back to back.
Seconds better.
All right.
You want to have back-to-back holiday parties? Christmas party
Well,
and New Year's party? Is that what you're saying,
I'll
Jeremy?
No, I tell you, because it's back to back. I probably ain't going. I would probably stop by if it weren't back to back, but
All right.
you don't have to change it for me. Don't worry about that.
No, one is good.
All right.
Jeremy, I've seen you eat. You'll have no trouble with back-to-back parties.
Yeah, that's what you think. All right. What else? Anything else? I can close the calendar, or you want to vote on it?
Yeah, let's vote on it. So
Wait,
motion
Jeremy, you
to-
have Rhinelander public hearing on here twice,
Where?
just
it's on the
delete the first
6th.
one.
and it's on the 20th.
Good catch, Lisa. Yeah.
Good.
All right, motion to approve uh, December's calendar. Do I have a second?
I second it. I
Second.
like it.
Seconded by Oral. Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? Any abstentions? Anyone against? All right, motion passes. Going to the next item, which is the gallery section. Let's go looking to see how many folks we have in here. All right, so we got a few people. Let's see. Diana Finch, I see you're on here. Would you like an opportunity to speak during the gallery session?
Sure, thanks. Just wanted to mention that at the Pelham Parkway Neighborhood Association meeting, someone brought up a really good point. They're trying to figure out how we might get lighting for the dog run that is inside Bronx Park by the Boston Road, the Ben Abrams playground, the entrance to the Bronx Zoo, the entrance to the Bronx River Parkway. And the problem is that the dog run is kind of deep inside the park, and the lights from the street don't penetrate that far. And that now that it's dark by 5, people who walk their dogs in the evening are afraid to go into the park because homeless people sometimes hang out in there's a wooded area there, sort of up on a hill. And you can't really be seen from the street, and it's just too dark. So
Okay. Would
thing to, they didn't really know what to do, and they hadn't mentioned it to the community board, I don't think, yet.
Lisa's on? She's the chair of the Parks Committee.
Yeah,
Lisa, what do you
somebody,
think? Do you want to add that?
yeah, someone has already brought it to our attention, and we've had a discussion with Parks, and and I'll bring it up at the meeting, but just to answer your question, Diane, from what I understand, Parks said it would have to be a capital project. Jeremy, correct me if I'm misquoting.
So we're inviting the capital projects director, Michael Ortiz, to the next meeting. I have asked him. So somebody pointed out to me how they believe that the dog run is supposed to be closed at dusk anyway. So I don't know if I brought that to, I've raised that concern to the Parks Department's attention. I don't know if that's true or not. So long story short, we're back and forth with them anyway. And the person who's contacted me about it, you know, they know that they need, this comes down to money. So we're definitely looking into it. So thank you for bringing it up.
Okay, sure. And
Jeremy, I also, excuse me, I also mentioned to you that was supposed to have been one large floodlight installed when that was built. Did you ever find out if that was the case, and maybe it's just not operational?
No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember you telling me it wasn't, or asking if it's operational, but I can ask. So.
And they were also wondering if the temporary police lights might be a solution, at least for this winter.
All right, we'll look into it.
Thank you.
We'll bring it up. We'll talk about it. I guess Lisa, we can put it on your agenda specifically.
Yeah. Yep, it's going to be on the agenda for Parks for sure.
Thanks, Lisa.
Okay.
Jeremy, for funding for that light in the dog park, do they go before Andrea's committee?
No, they go for an election.
Put
If you
put a
really want,
proposal?
if you really want it done, as Andrea knows personally, you go to an elected official. So.
And I'm
No,
under the
but if you go
impression
to
that
budget
light was
priorities-
supposed to be there already.
Yeah, well, so we'll. I mean, people can bring it to the budget priorities committee. There's no question about it. But it doesn't necessarily get done that way. More has to be involved. So we'll discuss it. We'll discuss it on the 9th. The 9th is when 7:30, right, Lisa?
Correct.
But if somebody wants to, you know, I mean, Yeah, we can add to our budget priorities, but let's see what Park says. Is that okay, Al?
That's fine. That works.
Okay. Fine.
All right, let's continue down the list. All right, looks like Robert Press. Would you like to say something?
Yes, I would. I sent in a filled out official Community Board 11 request to speak at the public meeting 1 week ago, and I don't see my name on the speakers list. I sent it to the board office. Number two, Mr. Chair, I have sent you an email today requesting to be a community committee member of 3 committees as per the city charter. I was one on another board before becoming a full community board member. Yeah, I ask you to do this as soon as possible because one of the committees is the Economic Development Committee, which is meeting on Wednesday, and there is no agenda up on the board site. Last week, public hearings are normally held at the full board level so the public knows where it is being held and not being held in a committee as if it's going to be hidden. And members should know, members should be hearing it at the full board because they're the ones who are going to be voting on it at the full board. And that is it for now. Thank you.
And so I see his request. Thanks for pointing out, Bob. And you'll be first on the agenda because your request was first on the 9th for the gallery session.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Bob. Let's see. Roxanne Delgado. Is
able to hear
Ms.
me?
Delgado on? Yes, we can
Hello?
hear you now.
I'm sorry, hello?
Yes.
Roxanne,
Are you able to hear me?
we can hear
Yes or
you.
no?
We can hear
I
you.
just want to make sure. I don't want to speak and realize no one's able to hear me. Regarding the dog park run, I'd just like to clarify that the group that's very active in not only maintaining the park, but getting other members involved in the dog run, they're actually spearheading this campaign. So I think we should just leave it to them because there's more facts that were not disclosed, and I think they should spearhead their advocacy for lighting in the dog park run. But I would like to clarify: there's no floodlight ever installed, so it's not that it's not in working order. It's not installed at all in the dog run.
Thank you for letting me know.
And second thing is that I would like to address something in Bronx Park East and Boston Road. It's happening all over the parks as well. Encampments, and thankfully, finally, the park does not respond to encampments, but I guess they were able to reach out to someone from NYPD. So there was a task force, NYPD, sanitation, parks, that they removed over 30 bags of trash, include buckets of syringes, and there was a large encampment where they were doing drugs and other illegal activity. It was the same small group of people that were encamping in Pelham Parkway over 2 years ago. They were finally cleaned up that spot, and that needs to be addressed. So we do have encampments in Pelham Parkway and Stillwell, and there's 4 tents in the morning, and people are afraid to walk their dogs or run. And I mentioned to the NCOs and community affairs, but I think they don't address unless it's a task force where they coordinate with sanitation and homeless services as well as parks, where they actually do a cleanup of encampments. So I think that should be put in the parks agenda. Encampments and regarding the dog run lighting, that should be addressed by the group that's actually spearheaded this issue. And I've been meeting with different members of the community as well as with me, and I gave them my feedback, and whether they take it or not, it's on them, but I think they should spearhead the lighting because they're very involved in the dog run. Regarding issue, I have sent the district manager email regarding e-scooter request for e-scooter town hall meeting or public hearing, because no matter where you go, every meeting that people attend, e-scooters are brought up. This is an issue people, whether they're for or against the e-scooter pilot program, there's concerns. I think we should hold a hearing on that. And it also not only affects Community Board 11, it runs across Community Board 12, and I think now Community Board 10. So there's 3 different community boards in the northeast side that have issues or concerns regarding e-scooter, and I think we should have a hearing on that. Is that possible?
So with the public hearing, is it more of a safety issue that you're thinking of?
it's basically people who want to provide their we had lots of interaction with e-scooters. People telling me that misuse of the e-scooters, and I think they should be heard about the incidents regarding the e-scooters being used by minors. And one instance where we have minors taking the e-scooter even when they're not on, taking them up the slope and after and riding them down on the road, even though the e-scooter is not on, because they pedal it up the hill and they just ride it down the hill. And these are minors. I'm about 10, 12, 11-year-old boys and girls. So this is something that people want to bring up to but not in a committee because people don't have a chance to speak. In the committees, you have all the issues on agenda, and then we have 5-10 minutes for the public to speak. And then when you speak too long, they're like, oh, the meeting, we're passing 9 o'clock. We have to go home. We have to go to bed. We have to go eat. So I think we should have a public hearing where the public has the opportunity, I'm not just saying myself, has the opportunity to speak about the issues with e-scooters that we've been having nonstop. That needs to be addressed because I really need a hearing, not just for myself, but it's brought up every meeting and residents bring it up.
I think it's a public safety.
Yeah, so I'll mention it to the public safety chair is not on tonight, but we will mention it and see if public safety committee meeting can hold a hearing, and it'll be a public hearing and you'll be notified of it.
Yeah, that'd be great because it feels like, I understand the Rylander one way, but that affects a small little section of the community. Each school affects 3 community districts, and it's an ongoing issue, and it's a very important issue. Transportation department, just without no public input, decided to extend the 1-year pilot program to 2 years. And per city council law, the minimum 1 year to maximum 2 years, and they decided to give it another year with no public hearing. And they should not extend it to another year unless they hear the concerns and address some of these concerns. I know not all concerns can be addressed, but some should be addressed. That's what I'm asking. It's very urgent we have a public hearing on this issue. It's been ongoing. It's been a very detrimental effect on people. I know there's some idealistic people that want e-scooters, but you can't force something to fit in an area that doesn't fit. It's like putting a square in a circle, a square peg in a circle, in a hole. You can't do it. You can't fit it. Nothing against the square, but you can't fit something that doesn't fit. So I really need a hearing. And that's not for me, it's for the community, mind you. It doesn't affect me because
I think Roxanne, I think she's right. I think at a public hearing, I think people from each scooter should attend as they did once before and allow the community to voice their concerns, pro and con about these e-scooters. Because as Roxanne said, and I've heard the same thing, there's been numerous complaints about the safety of these scooters and the amount of injuries caused by them. So I think if we do have that kind of a meeting, I think somebody from the city government should be there as well as somebody from the scooter company.
I think we just need Department of Transportation because the Department of Transportation is legally and morally responsible for keeping pedestrians, not just bicyclists or car drivers, safe. And this is, you understand that on the sidewalk, pedestrians have no safe zone anymore. We have wheels now on the sidewalk, so we can't be safe on the roads. Now we can't even walk on our own sidewalks because they're everywhere. And they're driven by people who don't have the training or even know the rules of the road or the right of way. And I don't blame them because you give something to someone and with no instruction and then you say, oh, they misuse it. What do you expect? So
and the minors.
We will. Yeah, it's more of a public safety issue, and I think it will. If we come from that angle,
okay,
it will be stronger than doing it in a transportation committee meeting. I mean, once you scream public safety or say the word safety, then it grabs everybody's ears. So we can do it that way. I started using one of the scooter companies, Bird, and I had to take a test on the app before I'm able to get to do the rental, and it's very good. It starts you off slow, and then I remember I tried crossing. I needed to cross Pelham Parkway, and I was at a crosswalk, but then I went in to cross, and it was like beeping like crazy, like you're not supposed to be here. This is a red zone. It was like giving me all these warnings that I can't be in. Like they considered it parks property, but I don't know how you expect me to cross over. Do you expect me to like go all the way to Stillwell just to cross Pelham Parkway? It didn't make sense. But I'll talk to them on the side on that.
I understand that, but the issue with yours is different because you have a driver's license and you're an adult. We have kids who don't have driver's license, and people who don't know the rules of the road, who are recklessly using these pilot program scooters and putting us in dangerous ways. So maybe you follow the rules, but there's a majority that don't follow the rules, and those are things that we need to address.
Yeah, and we'll come from the public safety angle, and we'll have the police department there, and maybe we can brainstorm, because they're not going to chase anyone, even if they're on the scooter. They have to wait for them to stop in order to ticket them or talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what we
Well,
can
if you do so, I'll actually be able to round up at least 15 people that have on direct phone that's been texting me nonstop about all the pictures they sent to me about the e-scooters for me to make complaints about. Okay, I'll go to the second issue because I want to dwell on one. Please, the Pelham Park and Reconstruction Task Force meeting. We haven't had one for over 6 or 7 months. And what's not fair is because when the reconstruction was actively being done on the east side, Williamsbridge, where the homeowners reside, but now that the project is being done east of Williamsbridge, where mostly tenants and NYCHA residents reside, and the issue is that on east of Williamsbridge, I mean, I don't see any complaints. Everything's been restored like it's never been worked on. So on the west side of Williamsbridge, we have so many unfinished projects and restoration are done on certain sections of the parkway. So it looks horrible, and we need to have a task force. It's not fair for us now that move to our area of the parkway. When I make our area, even though I care for one parkway, north and south, this is where I live now. And we have to have a task force meeting. It was used to be done monthly, and now all of a sudden it hasn't been done for over 6, 7 months. And I think we deserve a task force meeting now that it impacts me directly and other community members. So is that possible to have a task force meeting before year end?
As a community board, we have discussed it and came to the conclusion that we will not be hosting any task force meetings.
But do you
and
see
that
the
decision still
inequity?
stands.
When it was on east of Williamsbridge, where all the Pelham Garden is, and Joe Mento used to reside there, there was a monthly meeting done. But now that it's west of Williamsbridge, where the NYCHA resident is now, we no longer host a meeting. That's the inequity that we have here. You
You can call it inequity, but I think you know why it was terminated. So let's just leave it there.
Well, no, I don't know why. The thing is that when I give feedback, it depends on your perspective. People don't like input; they consider it criticism. But it's surprising that criticism is often a feedback. That's how things get better. And it's unfair to deny a whole community a task force meeting because someone has a difference of opinion.
Well, you do have the option as part of your organization.
No, they don't. The task force says it has to be done by the community board.
It can be hosted by a neighborhood organization, a community board, or an elected official.
All right, I'm going to move on, but I'll make minutes. The open meeting law. It requires minutes done within 2 weeks of a public meeting convened. It's years and years and years of not only minutes not being done on a timely basis, but minutes not even in existence or ever done. And supposedly transcribes are no longer available or never were. Recordings of those minutes are vanished. They don't exist, nor will they ever exist. And so there's no public record of what was detailed, what was done in those public meetings. And this is a affront to democracy and transparency and fairness, because in order for people to be aware, involved in their community, they need to know what happened. And we don't know what happened. And again, I'm going to ask you, I don't know why you don't allow your staff to do minutes, because you cannot mandate volunteers to do minutes. What are you going to do, fire them, not pay them? They're not paid. Other community boards have staff members do minutes, and they do it on a timely basis, and they do it in a concise manner that's done in a very standard way, which I think most times is more accurate than the minutes that Community Board 11 does, because it's different styles, and some things have include what they shouldn't include, and some, more importantly, some omit things that they should have been included. And the thing is, what people would say, remarks like, take little cheap shots at me, criticism. You should be thanking me, because every time I notify the community board that there's no minutes, it turns out, oh, we didn't know there was no minutes. Oh, we didn't know no one did the minutes. Oh, we didn't know they were missing. And then they have to say, oh, 3 months of minutes of one committee was never done. Like recently, the transportation, June, August, September wasn't done. So like, oh, we didn't know it was, and in May, August, we didn't know it was done. but they should notify every month when they receive a committee minute. It was not done. Not wait to Roxanne, though, got to ask for the minutes and realize, oh, she's criticizing us, she's harassing us again. And then tell them, oh, we don't know, we don't have minutes for the last 4 months because we didn't know the committee was not doing minutes. That happened with the leadership. You have 2 years of minutes never done. Because
All right, so your concern is noted with the minutes.
But why don't you allow your staff to do the minutes?
We're working on improving our minutes, and we're hoping things get better going forward. So we know we have a weakness there, and we're working on it.
But that weakness has been happening for 5 years, and every year that I bring it up, it's the same. Oh, we're going to improve it. We're going to make sure people do their minutes. And again, it's not a volunteer responsibility. They're not mandated to do anything. Why do you permit your staff to do the minutes? Because they have to do their job responsibly, because otherwise they receive a demotion or they receive a bad record on their review performance sheet. Why is it that you refuse to have your workers, your staff do the minutes to make sure then that was the part the minutes will be done on a timely basis and done on a concise manner, the way it should be? Why do you not allow your staff to do minutes?
Your concern is noted. Well, we're not refusing. We're just trying to get other committee members engaged. That's one of the reasons why we would like the committee to do the minutes. So anything else?
So if they don't do the minutes, then why don't? But one last thing. So if the minutes haven't been done for over 3 months, like in some cases, why don't you mandate your staff to do it? Why will you wait another month for them not to do it another month? Why do you allow that? Hello?
Yeah, like I said, I don't have a response to that other than we are working on it. We have a weakness that we have identified, and we're working to improve it.
Okay, so I'll move on to the next thing. And I hate to so many things to do, but a lot of the emails this minute don't respond to. The Yankee award. Why did I have to hear about that on the last month's full board meeting, and the deadline was the day after the full board meeting? Why was no email sent out notifying? Because I have lots of volunteers, and many of them are young volunteers who volunteer all summer to keep Parkway clean. Why did no email was sent out notifying the community that the Yankee Award was available and the deadline was the day after the full board meeting? Less than 24-hour notice. There's no way to nominate anyone and have their resume and their information submitted to you within less than 24 hours. Why is it that there's no email sent to the community about the Yankee Award?
I'd like to answer that.
An email wasn't sent. Yeah, I just want to say I was going to hand it up to you anyway, Bernadette. But an email wasn't sent, but it was discussed I know for sure at the full board meeting in September. And I believe it was probably discussed at the Education Committee meeting, and I'll let Bernadette take over.
But if people don't attend that meeting,
can I respond to you, Roxanne? Okay, there was actually, I had put out an email to everybody, and you're on my email blast, about the Yankee Leadership Award on my, Van Ness Neighborhood Alliance, reminding people over the summer in September. I think it was in September, and I think there were two that came in afterwards, but they were said we're finishing up. We just had to get an answer, whatever. But they had said beforehand, before the deadline, we're in the process of doing it and we're sending it. So it basically got to us maybe a day later or 2 days afterwards, but they had told us before the deadline. Okay, so
first of all,
it was out there. It was out there. The form was sent out.
Right. Let me. First of all, I don't live in Van Ness, and no offense to you, but I don't read your emails because I do not live in Van Ness.
You get my email blast on stuff.
No, I don't read your emails because I don't live in Van Ness.
Whether you send me emails or not. Yeah, but the Yankee Leadership Award is for everybody.
No, I didn't say that not for everybody. I said I don't read your emails if you send them to me because I don't live in Van Ness. So if I see anything Van Ness, I just ignore the email. I don't read them. I live in Community Board 11. When I see an email from Community Board 11, I read it because I reside in Community Board 11, not in Van Ness.
Well,
I'm asking why didn't Community Board 11 not send an email out? And regarding the deadline, when I was at the full board meeting last month, it was announced that the deadline was the following day. I was like,
I want to cut the discussion, and so I'm going to speak now. I've muted everybody. I'm not allowing you to unmute yourselves so I don't get interrupted. But a meeting did go out in August. And if I want to verify who was part of the public distribution in August, I can do that. But it did go out to the public in August after I got approval from Diane Norris on the current memorandum. So that's the first issue. Second issue, I spent all morning doing minutes. Harry does our full board meeting minutes. Community Board 8 does full board meeting minutes, but they don't do committee minutes. A lot of other community boards do not do committee minutes. I've checked with other community boards. Community Board 2, they don't do minutes at all, the staff, right? Again, Harry does the full board minutes. And even though board members like Hazel do leadership minutes, I do a lot too. I do a lot in terms of editing and formatting. That's the second issue. Third issue, I want to give kudos to Diana Finch for having her meeting last week and inviting Miss Rojas. I heard it was a well-attended meeting, and that's exactly the intended result. Doesn't have everything. The community board is not the end-all, be-all, right? We have great community organizations, whether it's Bronx Park East Community Association or the Van Ness Neighborhood Alliance, and the whole point is that everything doesn't have to come through the community board. So again, kudos to Diana Finch for having that meeting. I know Con Ed was an issue. I know Ms. Rojas, is not happy exactly with Con Ed, who is. But, I'm trying to work out these issues to help people get their issues addressed. So thank you very much, everyone.
Very good, Jeremy. Thank you so much for that.
Go ahead, Guy.
Yeah, Ms. Delgado, we addressed the Yankees award. Do you have anything else to add before
Hello?
we end the gallery session?
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, because I was muted. First of all, I don't appreciate someone interrupting my time. I'm trying, and first of all, hello, can you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you, and you have an echo, so you have to turn off one of your devices.
Let me go outside then, because I'm it's not. I don't know why the focus is on what other community boards don't do, but the open meetings law mandate minutes of every public meeting, whether the committee meetings or full board meetings. So I don't know why waste time regarding what all the other boards do or don't do. The open meetings law requires minutes of every public
Ms.
meeting.
Delgado, sorry to interrupt you, but we have to. Do you have anything else?
All right, but because he interrupted me.
We're not gonna.
Okay, fine.
I know. We don't want to talk about the same issue again and again and again. We're trying our best to address.
Wait, but okay. I was interrupted. This information was provided to the board. Again, if that email can be forwarded to me where it disclosed the Yankees award and the line, then because I did not receive it. And whether Van Ness or Bronx Park East send those emails, again, I don't live in Bronx Park East or Van Ness, so I'm not interested in their emails, so nor do I read them. Therefore, it's paid to hold.
If it says Yankee award, you look at it, right? Because you're interested in an award. If it says that they're going to give a Yankee award, you look at it, right? No?
No, I don't. If it's from Van Ness or Bronx Park or Allerton, I don't look at it because I don't live there.
You read the title and you can get
Why instead of putting the burden on association, why not a community board who reviews these Yankee applications as an email?
Jeremy, can you forward the email, Jeremy? The email that you sent out in August. I think it was August 2nd, as I just reviewed.
All right, so then I'll move on to two more issues. The same thing with the budget priority meeting. I looked at the minutes, only 2 members of the public was there. Again, I received no email regarding this meeting. And yes, it was posted to the calendar, but this meeting only happens once a year. And who knows what day it was posted on the calendar. You expect the public to check every day or every morning, every evening. The calendar is not fair. Of course, I know parks meetings held every month, so I check the calendar. But to receive no notification by email regarding the budget priority meeting, that's not fair. Why not use some emails regarding these meetings? Hello?
Yeah, so your concern was noted on that.
Okay. Then two more issues. I heard the chair say that we should step on the committee, but then, and I'm making this a notification, you don't even have to respond to it. But the issue with the civil shelter, the issue with the Mother Teresa Plaza, the issue with Dominic Sciano co-naming, all that was not done and the committee. And not only was not done, it was done through leadership. It was done with no public input, and it was and that's not fair. You have to give a public. It's like you don't want the public to criticize, but it's not criticism. It's feedback. It's concern. We can disagree. It cannot be the board dictating the community needs and priorities. It has to be the community. This is why the community has shut down, because we're not being heard. We're not being empowered. We're not being respected. You have to allow the public to have a say in things. You cannot just circumvent the public, put it in leadership, and then fast track it to a full board and misrepresent the full board that Joan I donated money for Mother Teresa. It was funded, and then you still don't have the correct information regarding the location. That was not fair. You cannot do things like that. This is not right. This is a misuse of the community board, and it harms our community when a community is denied of a say, whether they agree with you or not. This has to be taken serious. This really needs to be taken serious. This has been going on for too long. You could have your associates that do all those things, but not the community board. It's a public. It's funded by taxpayers. Over $500,000 paid for your staff salary, paid for your rent, paid for your equipment. We pay for that, and for you to deny us to have a say and to go straight forward to leadership and then misrepresent Mother Teresa saying, Joan, I donated money. There's a difference between donation and funded. A big difference. And that's not fair. That really wasn't fair. That should have been tabled for a committee hearing if it was so adamant of doing it.
So what's the last item that you have before we end
Any response?
session?
Any response to that?
What's the last item before I respond?
Oh, I would really appreciate an email regarding the Yankees budget, Yankees award. That was all. Thank you for that.
Okay,
That's the last item.
Regarding hearing from the public, for the public full board meeting, we've changed it. The gallery session is before everything, so it's towards the front. So there hasn't been a change there. And when it comes to the committee meetings, it's going to be up to the committee chair where they put the gallery session. They can put it first, they can put it last. It's up to the chair where they want to put it. So I'll leave it as that. All right.
But one last, I'm making sure this is a liquor license. What happened with and that's why the September full board meeting is incorrect. It omits the lady, the landlord. I forgot her name, Angelique. Well, not only that she was not registered to speak because she was not listed on the agenda, she spoke outside the public gallery session. She spoke during the motion to send a no objection regarding gasoline, known as Cuddy Bar. For you to allow her to speak when she was not even registered to speak, and on top to speak outside the public gallery session, that was not right. It's how you don't treat people equally, and that's a big problem with me. I don't want you to like me, and I don't need.
All right. Well, that one, we needed to ask her a question, and I don't think there's any rules against us asking a member of the public a question during a meeting. So
Yeah, hey, enough with this. We gave her more than enough time that everybody else has had.
Left the meeting.
Agreed. This is too much.
Okay, so
way too much.
we will end. Are we missing anyone else for the gallery session before we end it? All right. Any old business?
I'd like to make a suggestion with old business.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, with regards to what Roxanne was saying, I think it would be good that as soon as the calendar gets finalized, that it gets put and gets pinned to the top of the Facebook page. I think that's important. I know that Community Board 10 does it, and it actually helps me when I look to see if there's things that I would like to attend if I have time. So
Bernadette, excuse me, her response to that when I had told her about the public hearing was on Facebook. Well, I don't look at social media all the time.
Well, I don't
look at social
media. You should send an email. Just send an email. What's wrong with sending an email?
Listen, there's no, please, you guys, you gotta come on. This is a meeting, Roxanne, and everyone here. We're trying to make a discussion. We're trying to finalize things. If you continue to keep going into things over and over again, and you made some good points, but then once you make a good point, it'll be great if you move on to the next one. Roxanne, if it keeps going on and on and on, everyone is going to get upset because this is too much. So you made your point, and we need to move on from there. I understand it. I agree with you on some issues I don't. But we can move on from that because this is not a time to discuss it. Maybe we can have a discussion and clarify everything, but we gotta keep moving on, okay?
Bernadette, good point. I'll try to take on that task and help, and maybe Jeremy can help me with doing stuff on the community board Facebook page. Anything for old business? Anything else?
I have new business.
All right, Andrea taking us into new business. Anyone
Okay.
for new business other than Andrea? I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Andrea.
Okay, at the suggestion of Al, this is addressed to Jeremy. We'd like you to explain why certain people are not getting callbacks because you claim that you have to spend extra money to call them back. I don't have a problem with that. My problem is when you did call me back last week, why is my phone calls being monitored by a third party? I found that extremely offensive.
First of all, is this a public discussion?
Yes, it is, because Al told me to bring it up at this meeting.
Okay, so can you clarify what you're talking about?
When I called you last week and then Chris called you and connected you to me, he stays on the phone. Now I object to that.
Okay, so then I don't have
Phone
to do
calls should
that.
not have to be monitored. Last time you did that to me was with Harriet. My phone calls to you or to anybody else or anybody else's phone calls should not have to be monitored. I highly resent it.
So why don't you say something then? Why are you saying something now at a public meeting? Why don't you say something then?
Because I also want to know, and Al wants to know why.
I don't understand.
Why you can't call back immediately and you give this nonsense that it costs extra money. It's not coming out of your pocket.
So let's be clear on a couple things. First of all, does anybody else have a problem with me calling them back?
Well, you claim that I'm on a different phone system.
So I don't understand what's happening here. So if Chris is on the line or Harriet is on the line while I'm talking to Jeremy, whatever I say to Jeremy is kind of like at that point I don't understand what the problem is if the others are.
My problem is when I call him, he cannot call me back because he claims that because I use a different phone system than what he has, it costs extra money. So he has somebody in the office call them and like connect us, and they stay on the phone. Now, my conversations or anybody's conversations should not be monitored.
Well, they're not. I don't think they're monitored. I think at that point it becomes a conference call. No.
No, but it's not a conference call. My conversation is with Jeremy, not with Harriet, not with Chris.
And why don't you say that then, if you have a problem with that?
Because I didn't know that they were on the line until you hung up, and then Chris says to me, "Have a good weekend."
Okay, look, at this point, a lot of the times I'll speak to Harry. It's like, look here, like all the time. I'll say, Harry, can you call out because I want you to hear this too. I don't want to repeat myself. And so, some ways I like that. I prefer that. It's good to have a witness, depending on who I'm speaking to. So if you have an issue with that, when they call to connect you, tell me right. You're telling me now, so I won't involve them when I call you. If anybody else has an issue
but you don't call back, Jeremy. That's the problem. The last time I mentioned it to you, you said to me, text me and I'll call you back. Well, if you look at your text messages, you don't call back because I have sent you text. I need to speak to you.
Okay, so I can't, for the most part, I get back.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see the message. That only works so long.
Well, so again, anybody else having a problem here? Anybody else having a problem getting in touch with me, getting callbacks from me?
It seems that it's me because I'm on a different system than most of your other board members, or so you told me.
Hey, Andrea, I had Harriet call me today and link me with Jeremy, and Chris did it last week. He called me and then linked me with Jeremy. I don't have an issue with it, but now that I guess you have an
I
issue with it,
do.
Jeremy's aware of it.
But
That's,
I
I
do.
understand.
I think-
find it
Going forward,
offensive.
it's not, I think I just don't want to continue to, I have to drop off anyway. I think this is going to continue past my time. So Al, would you be able to take over the meeting? And Jeremy, would you be able to continue doing the minutes from here on? Because this looks like it's going to extend past the time.
Sure, no, it's
Yeah,
not gonna
it's up
extend any
to-
further. I will talk to Jeremy and I will talk to Andrea about the concerns and we'll take care of it. That's all. It's not a big deal.
It
Thank
should
you.
be.
I mean, I brought it up
All right.
because you told me to, Al, you know.
Yeah, I forgot to talk to Jeremy ahead of time. I told Jeremy I told you I was gonna talk to Jeremy to get the, to give him a heads up and find out what the problem is. I'm away.
I mean,
so
I
didn't
think-
get a chance to talk to him.
Just to try and nip it in the bud, I think what Andrew's talking about is I have a Verizon cell phone. I have limited talk minutes. Yahe has a Verizon cell phone. Al has a Verizon cell phone, but I still usually get Harry and Chris on the phone with them. Joe Thompson does not have a Verizon cell phone, but I had no problems picking up his call earlier. Bernadette called me, last week, or I called her. You know, she doesn't have a Verizon cell phone, right? Like maybe you called me at the wrong time, wrong place. What can I tell you?
Okay, like I said, I don't have an issue so much with that. My issue mainly was that the calls are being monitored, and I found that very offensive.
All right, that'll be taken care of, Andrea.
That's all.
All right, anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second.
It's at 8:29 p.m.
Have a good night.
All right,
Good
thanks.
night, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yes, happy